Willow, did you see that Molly Baz is promoting her mayo by doing the old man Costco parody by printing a barcode for the AO mayo on her shirt? Did you see that?
I did. I saw that. I feel like it's kind of an outdated reference at this point. Is that just me?
So many people sent it to me, saying, I think you probably already saw this. And I was concerned, or I guess what was remarkable to me is that so many of the comments, and this is people who presumably follow her, are saying stuff like, this is cringe, this is not it, you didn't have to do this, there's still time to delete this. And, on one hand, this is why I try not to post anything that relies on the viewer getting something, like understanding a reference to something. But also, I wonder if this is like a top indicator for the influencer products, right? Like, this is the first time I've ever seen an influencer product catch flack from the people who support the influencer themselves.
I don't know it's so much like the product catching flack, though. It's really just her. It's just people being like, girl, this is a little weird. I don't like this.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing about influencer products is you buy the product because you like the influencer. And so for somebody to be skeeved out by the way that it's being promoted, I think that's a sign of something. I just don't know what yet. That's my expert analysis.
I feel like it just, in terms of something like this where it does rely on like somebody getting some sort of reference being made, I don't see why she wouldn't just try and lean on something like a little more topical. Like, I don't think I've seen that man's face in years.
Oh, really? I never paid attention to him. I always thought that the old Costco man was very annoying, so I haven't been on the lookout for him. I didn't know that he stopped doing it. But yeah, the whole like, no LEDs
I mean, I'm not
on
on the lookout either.
The way that she did the no LEDs on the mayo, I think people were taking her in earnest and like, why can't you put LEDs on the mayo? Anyway, I don't mean to start the show with my own stories that I bring to the table, but please, we could go straight into the stories that you deeply research. As you can see, I'm not qualified to do this sort of coverage.
Lay's is rolling out its biggest rebrand ever, alongside recipe tweaks in alignment with MAHA values and emerging ingredient bans. This new brand identity features refreshed packaging with visuals that put the focus on ingredients, a change that aligns their image with their goals of removing all artificial colors and flavors from their products by the end of 2025.
I understand it. It's a little Pringles-esque, but it's cohesive across the different languages and countries that they sell them in. So it's inoffensive. It's well done, and I'm not too shocked by it.
I really just thought that the packaging was going to be much more drastically different, just based on the number of websites I saw reporting on this. It really doesn't feel like that big a deal to me. There were just these like minor changes made where there's like a little like sunburst in the Lay's sun logo, which I had no idea was previously supposed to also represent a sun. I kind of just thought that the round yellow logo was meant to kind of mimic a potato chip.
Me too.
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not alone there. But I did see that they are putting an image of a potato on every bag. And in one of the articles I saw, it said that 42% of consumers did not know that Lay's were made of real potatoes. And I just want to know what that means. Is that like people think that they're like Pringles-esque and made of like composite potatoes, or people think they're made of fake potatoes? What's happening here? Who did they ask?
I imagine people just don't even think about it, really. And I think that's the real disconnect between like us as onlookers of industry and like people actually in the industry, whether it's like, politics or media or food, where it's just like, you have no idea how little the consumer understands or even thinks about what we do here. And so, I watched a TikTok the other day where somebody was like, oh, what's so crazy is I'll be healthy and I'll buy like the avocado oil potato chips, like be seed oil free, but I'll still drink 5 martinis that night. And my mind was blown because we're just blowing past this idea that like avocado chips are healthy. Like that was the thing that cemented it to me. Like we're fully seeded into this idea that like not seed oil free chips are healthier, so much so that it's like the setup for a joke later on. It's not even the premise of a joke. I thought it was going to be like, oh, I'm so crazy because I think that avocado chips are healthy. But no, that's the setup for what is to come. And so we pay attention to food. We understand that potato chips are made out of potatoes, but a lot of people just aren't paying attention. They're just buying what is right in front of them. It's kind of cattle-esque. I hate to say it, but I saw another TikTok that was like, the thing that's so crazy about when you finally decide to start eating healthy and whole foods is you look around the grocery store and you're like, man, what is all this crap? What have they been feeding us? Like, bro, they haven't been feeding you anything. You chose that stuff. You're just walking around mindlessly in the grocery store. So, I think that a lot more people are helpless and clueless than we wish to acknowledge.
I really don't want to acknowledge that. If we're living in a world where 42% of potato chip eaters do not know that potato chips are made out of potatoes, I think we've got a real problem here. But I do think it makes sense that Lay's is kind of making a big deal out of this rebrand. I do feel like Lay's potato chips are, as far as food products goes, kind of like a symbol of like American food industry. So it makes sense to me that they would be sort of like early adopters of like adhering to all of these like upcoming regulations right away, because they're saying to have it done by the end of 2025 of this year. And I think that a lot of these like additives don't technically need to be out until the end of 2026, I think. So it does make sense to me that they're like, look at us, like giving the people what they want.
Well, that's what it comes down to is like people are getting what they want. There's this idea that like they are trying to trick us or feed us poison. It's just like consumers will always get exactly what they want. Sometimes it's fun shapes and cool colors. And right now it's no seed oils and pictures of potatoes. And, 10 years ago, all of the pictures, all of the labels on like the chicken breast in the store had to turn brown instead of yellow because it makes it feel more natural. Like, I guess it's just people who haven't been alive long enough or haven't been paying attention long enough. Like, this is just more of the same. That's why I just don't find it very remarkable. And I'm ready to move on to the next story, please.
Death Wish Coffee has filed a federal trademark infringement suit against Liquid Death, arguing that Liquid Death's planned coffee products would infringe on Death Wish's established death-branded coffee and cause consumer confusion.
If you ask me, Death Wish Coffee does not have a brand. If Liquid Death made an amusement park, you could imagine what it would look like. Maybe there's a water slide, but the water is red. There's a big axe or something. Like you can imagine it. But if Death Wish Coffee made anything, positively anything other than like commodity grade coffee with a silly little goofy label on it, it's unimaginable. And so they have no brand. This is like an open and shut case of like, sorry, you lose, you stink, and there's nothing for you here other than trying to claw at the scraps of what other companies are doing better than you.
At the end of the day, I really wish that these two companies would just like get over it and kind of kiss and make up, because while Death Wish does already sell like a canned coffee beverage that you can buy, I think that if they would just set aside their differences, they could collaborate for a canned coffee drink in the like iconic Liquid Death packaging. And I think that that would probably do better, because until researching this, I did not know that Death Wish made a canned coffee. I had seen the bagged coffee and stuff before, but I think that, instead of getting kind of like up in arms about like the similarities between the branding, I feel like they could lean into that for a really successful collaboration. But with that said, I do feel like coffee in general feels a little off-brand for Liquid Death.
I don't suppose you watch any of the Housewives shows, do you, on Bravo?
No, I never have seen a single episode.
Now, based on what you just said, you strike me as somebody who's like, I wish they could all just get along. Whereas I watch those shows and I'm like, they should all have a complete meltdown and just cease to exist. Not even, yeah, like they should both lose. They should both punch each other in the face and knock each other out. And it's just like, yeah, two stinky brands that I don't care about who are lame and annoying, and now they're fighting. It's just like, I don't wish for them to come together. I wish for them to both burn all of their resources and cease to exist, because I'm so tired of hearing about them.
I will say I am tired of hearing about Liquid Death. I mean, all the amount of times that we have covered a stupid new thing that Liquid Death is doing, whether it's a weird new flavor or a coffin or some other crazy thing that they're doing, cutting a sandwich with a chainsaw, I do think that, an opportunity to see them get humbled a bit is great, but I don't know that I really see this panning out into anything substantial.
Well, if any of the viewers can understand why I'm doing so much hand waving and moving the show along, it's because I'm very excited about the third story. So please, let's get straight into it.
After Arizona-based micro-influencer Aurora Griffo, aka Glamorama, posted a negative review of Scottsdale's JL Patisserie, the bakery fired back in a now viral video debunking Griffo's claims and providing screenshots of DMs, where Griffo was turned down for a collaboration and implied that free food would guarantee the bakery a good review.
Okay, so I will put my bias up front here. I hate this lady. There are so few like social media accounts that I just like deeply, deeply hate and detest and block and try to pay zero attention to, and this is one of them. Like, I hate them. The first thing I ever saw was them, she's walking out of Bacanora, which is a really important restaurant here that had just opened that year, and it's impossible to get a reservation. She's like, this place stunk, PU. And like, it's not even a review. It's not even artful. There's nothing of it. It's just pure troll. And she's saying frijoles wrong. She's saying frijoles. And it's just like, why would anybody trust this person? And I think that it's just, well, we can get into my analysis about why it did so well, but I'll just say right up front, I really hated her. And when this blew up, I was in a lot of DMs and a lot of group chats chats and like talking to a lot of people who are just like, yes, finally, she's going down. And part of me thinks that this has a lot to do with what's his name, Dadi, Daadi, who posts about like influencers in the food world doing bad things. Are you familiar with him?
No.
Okay, he's the guy who's like he's always lambasting the "come with me," and he's always making fun of like he's sort of like the CoffeeZilla of the food world, and it was his coverage of the JL Patisserie clapback that I think brought this to national attention, and so I want to acknowledge that like he might have been a major player in making this blow up.
I do think that something that I find really interesting is that her initial video that people were upset about really did not gain a lot of traction. Her negative review amassed like 8,000 views over the course of 2 days, which is really not much, even for like a local micro influencer. It was not until JL Patisserie went to their TikTok and posted a video responding and basically like shitting all over her video that it actually gained some traction. And I love to see like sweet justice go down on the internet like that. Like it was really beautiful to watch her just walking through the bakery being like, look at our beautiful fancy imported pistachio cream. Look at our 8 different kinds of beautiful imported French and Italian flowers. Like it was so deeply satisfying.
And this is like the first time that I have no urge to do dialectics or like fence sitting or anything like that, or acknowledge the other side, because it's such a cut and dry a case of this person just being a troll. Like anybody who commented like, hey, this is a bad thing that you're doing, or hey, I can't believe that you're like saying this word wrong, or any like reasonable criticism, she would just respond and be like, and that's why I'm rich and you're broke. Like she was just a pure troll all the way through from the beginning to the end. And I just finished writing a script that I've been sitting on for like a year that's like, it's about why I don't review restaurants and why I don't post reviews of restaurants. And now because of all this, I'm going to have to readdress it and start all over because I have so much more to think about now.
I will say that it really did not take much for me to hate this girl when I was researching this. She just has the worst like self-proclaimed like villain mean girl attitude I've ever seen. I found a Reddit thread of people discussing this and most of the people in the comments like you said about your group chats were just like, oh thank God, I hate this girl, finally someone put her in her place. But even about that, this girl posted a TikTok after the fact, after JL Patisserie responded with their video. She posted a now archived like apology, not really like explanation video, where she was just like, oh, someone finally stood up to me, like, you've got balls. And it was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so
Exactly.
annoying.
Main character energy. And my favorite part of the Dottie takedown of her is like, girl, unless you can break 10,000 views reliably, start paying for your own food. And it's so true. Like, I don't know. I will say, I do usually almost always wish to sort of present a differing viewpoint. And since you and I are both so aligned on this, I called up my friend Ben Tierney. He has nothing to do with the show up until now, save for the fact that we have debated about this woman months ago. And when I finally called him up, like, great news, Ben, I've been proven right. This net negative person is finally being taken down for all the crimes that I find her guilty of. He's like, still following her, still down with what she does, and I'm going to get on a call with him real quick. The internet is really spotty, so we'll see how it goes, and see. I want to present his perspective, at least to the audience, so that it's not just us dancing on the grave of this account. With me today is friend of the show, making his debut, world's weirdest normie, Ben Tierney. Ben, it's my understanding that you have followed Glamorama. We've debated about her existence and your followership of her for months. And now that everything is coming to a head, I sent you a message expressing maybe a desire to do a victory lap, and yet you still find her position defensible. Please state your case.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And please let me clarify. I'm not here today to defend the actions of this particular influencer, but more so the extent to which her content could have been found appealing.
I'll tell you why, because people love negativity, especially when it's something that people pay a lot of money for, and there's a lot of money to be made in the sour grapes industry to be like, oh, Nobu is bad. What other thing is bad? A caviar is bad. Everything that's expensive is bad, and I'm the one to tell it to you for real. I'm the one to give it to you raw. Everything's a scam.
When you have influencers who are latching onto a bandwagon of consumers who don't feel like they're getting value anymore, especially when they're going to restaurants, you find an interesting synthesis with these people who are really telling it like it is, whether or not they're right about
Whether or not it is the way that they're saying it is, right? This is the sort of culinary disillusionment of the red pill manosphere, which is like, I'm a loser and it's women's fault. It's like, I'm not having a good time when I eat out and it's the influencer's fault or it's the restaurateur's fault.
Exactly. What I feel happened in this situation, however, is that the bar of morality sort of eclipsed all of this woo-woo curtain, right? That we finally realized that there's a point at which someone can cause real harm and deserves to be told that they were taking advantage of a business. And that's probably what happened.
How do you feel about what's his name? Dadi? I don't know how to pronounce it. He's the guy who roasts and lambasts influencers.
Yeah, sort of like a fish eating barnacles off of a whale's chin, right? Just kind of latching on for the free meal, but it's living on the edge. Does he also have a line of snacks that this may be tied to promoting?
It's the same thing where it's like he's trafficking in negativity, where he's like, oh, all influencers are trying to do is scam you or trick you to some degree. And I notice that he sometimes gets things a little bit wrong when he talks about the ways influencers interact with food and food products and restaurants. But that's just a different, I think, flavor in what the Glamorama was trafficking in, which is, I'm going to tell it to you straight, and the straight of it is, things aren't good.
I think we were originally kind of off-put by the nature of food influencing in Phoenix by a particular reviewer. I think AZ Foodie was the name, right? Who was reviewing clearly under the guise that they had been paid reviews, which is fine, right? Get your bag. And that was transparent, although that left a kind of opportunity for someone to come in who, it sounds like this person, Aurora, was independently wealthy, had retired early, and this was all she wanted to do. So there was no potential consequence of giving this honest feedback. And I think what happened now is that we realized that both types of food reviews, restaurant reviews, can be potentially damaging to the business. So where do we go from here?
I don't think that she posted reviews to begin with. I think she was set out to be a troll, always has been a troll. You are one of two people that I know who followed her for some reason. And now that the other person has unfollowed in light of recent events, you are the only person who still follows Glamorama. And so that's really why I have you on the world stage here to almost 5,000 subscribers, is to explain yourself. Why do you find yourself to be so drawn to this content, even when it's proven to be false and trolly, in the same way that, some people do still follow Liver King and they're like, yeah, he did steroids, but now he's natty and he's doing good things now. It's like some people, it seems as though the wool is still over your eyes by choice.
Well, now comes the fun part, right? Here's the big payoff for all the people who have been following this story, is that now we get to see this person crash and burn. Since that review, she's taken down all of her videos, it looks like. And when people say they're taking a indefinite hiatus from social media, in real terms, that means we probably won't post for a month now. So then, what does the cocoon to butterfly moment look like for this person, or will there even be one? That's a storyline that you can't get on scripted television these days.
You're lucky that my internet decided to cut out right as you were talking a lot about not answering my questions. So let me corner you by just giving you an easy out. Do you think that Glamorama, her account, her media, the work that she produces and posts online, or at least used to, is a net positive or a net negative on the industry, the food industry, the media industry, anything at all? Can you see any positive or negative conclusion in terms of the net results of the work that she produces?
Hey, look, while it'd be easy,
You've got that perfect politician way of redirecting the attention here. Because my camera has cut out and I now have to do this over my phone and I'm desperate to get any sort of non-weaselly answer out of you, I'm going to stop talking and let you give your full response as you please.
appreciate the opportunity to come here today and speak eloquently over all of these challenges, both social and technological. And while it would be easy to drag this person, given her trolling tendencies and potentially taking advantage of other people's generosity, uh, I'm saying, it's absolutely a net positive what she's done here, right? Because serving as a cautionary tale for those who want to get involved in this type of media, just know that there will eventually come a time where you make a deal with the devil and potentially trigger a mob mentality coming after you. Listen, I think people online don't want to watch ads. We don't want to see someone who's living a lavish lifestyle get paid thousands of dollars to eat a meal at some place. We also learned through this that we don't want to see someone just go in and dog on a restaurant for the heck of it. So maybe as a result of this, we get something in between a lighthearted laugh and a look inside a restaurant that we won't be able to afford to go to anyways.
Hey, if anybody's wondering why I worked so hard to record this for 51 minutes and had to resort to using my phone to get this interview, this is why. I'm committed to providing a perspective that is not just my own. And so, Ventieni, thank you for presenting the, in my opinion, insane perspective of somebody who thinks that Glamorama was a net positive. But I appreciate your input.
Thanks. Hey, a quick shout out. If you are in Phoenix and you do want to pay $8 for a drink and have it feel worth it, check out our neighbors at Stroll Coffee. They set up at Dig It, the plant store, most days now, actually, I think on the weekends and during some of the weekdays. Good drink.
Bro said we don't want to watch ads and then gave some paid shout outs. How much did they give you for that one?
Yeah, we have little dinner parties.
All right, here are the new products for this week. I have for you a collab between Dunkin' and Father's Table for 2 coffee-inspired cheesecake flavors, Hot Mama hot ice cream from Tyra Banks Scoop Shop Smize and Dream, and Hellman's Craven Proof edition of The Primal of Blood and Bone, the latest novel from best-selling romantasy author Jennifer L. Armentrout, infused with garlic aioli. A lot of words for you there.
Yeah, I'm going to say, a viewer, pause right now before we explain what that product is and try to tell me what you think this product is. The cheesecake coffee is so inconsequential, we're not even going to cover it right now. And it feels like all of the coverage that we've done on new products up until now is practice for me to be like, yes, I'm getting information and now it's time for me to synthesize. Mayonnaise book. And from what I understand, it's like a coffin-shaped press package with a mayonnaise-themed, Dracula-themed book and also some mayonnaise in it, in the press package, right?
Yes and no. You are right that this, to simplify, it is mayonnaise book. I really feel like this is the final boss of products that I have been presenting to you. So you can either order this online or you can go to the bookstore owned by the author. And if you go to the bookstore, you get some garlic aioli with your book. But if you order it online, you just get the book. Just the stinky book. The ink printed in this book is infused with Hellman's garlic aioli, and it smells like garlic. So there's a vampire-esque creature in this book, I guess, called a craven, and they are susceptible to garlic just like a regular vampire. So this book is a nod to that, and this is maybe one of the weirdest things that I feel like we've reported on, but I gotta say, this sounds like it is a win for white women everywhere. Mayonnaise and romantasy, I feel like, what more do you need?
And so this is not the person who does what I feel so I don't know what any of these these popular book talk books where it's just an X of Y and Z where it's a Song of Fire and Ice, Court of Thorns and Roses. She's one of those, right? Like a famous TikTok book talk person who makes horny dragon books.
Yes. I have never read any of this woman's books. I don't really know anything about her beyond this funny little stunt that we're talking about. But she has had New York Times best-selling selling books. It is kind of like a book talk romantasy thing. And I feel like I've kind of been waiting to see a brand really jump on the craze and popularity of either like book talk in general or romance literature, because I feel like it is inescapable and huge right now. And I like the concept. Well, I don't like the concept. I like that they are trying to lean into that. I can't in any way imagine wanting to hold a book in front of my face and read it when it stinks like garlic the whole time.
I imagine it was very fun to make, and I am excited by the notion of what it took to make this take place, and I'm not upset by the existence of the product. The only real criticism that I have to levy against it is whoever designed the cover. Like, you can tell a board of too many members got their hands on it, because the photorealistic garlic replacing one of the letters on the cover is just, it takes me out of it so mega bigly that you can tell that this was like a design by a committee of people. But overall, I'm not mad at the product. I think it sounds fun, and the people who collect her books are going to have a grand old time. And it's just the alphabet soup of words that has to come together in order to call it what it is really the big problem.
That was really one of the things holding me back from, I almost didn't choose this as a product because I was like, I feel like it requires so much explanation to even get it across. But something else I'm very interested in here. Have you heard about this hot ice cream at all?
Yes. Okay. This is what we can end the show on, because I have heard Tyra Banks talk about this hot ice cream in social media. I've seen clips of this, and it's just her being like, it's hot ice cream. It's not hot chocolate. It's not this. It's not like whatever logical conclusion that people are commenting. She's like, no, it's not that. It's hot ice cream. So please just tell me what this is.
I can't. I don't have that information for you. Unfortunately, I brought this to you to speculate wildly about what this could be, because it's not like a hot drinkable like creme anglaise or something like that. I've seen pictures and it looks like regular ice cream that you eat with a spoon, like an ice cream sundae, but it's hot mama.
Maybe it's
I
spicy.
don't. No, it's supposed to be like hot temperature wise, like warm and like melty, but
Okay.
not melted ice cream. She keeps specifically saying like it's not just melted ice cream. You know, maybe this is a story that I should have ran by hydroxide first, and maybe she could have explained to me how the fuck something like this is even possible.
This is exactly, you know what? I'll end up giving Tyra Banks props, because she's following in the exact footsteps that her like tech oligarch overlords are setting in place for what makes a good and profitable business, right? Like Sam Altman, Sam Bankman-Fried, Elon Musk, they all do this thing where it's like, I have huge news. This completely unimaginable thing that's never existed before is coming. Ask as many questions as you want. I will not answer them. That's how like AI works. That's how the cyber robot works. That's how everything works now. And for it to be applied to ice cream, you know what? Great job. I hope that her stock price 10x's and goes public and is her retirement plan, because that is the new blueprint. And I applaud her for applying it to something new.
I don't even know if I have anything to respond to that. That was a very
good, because that's the end of this. And
of all of that.
Everybody get prepared for Eater's Digest 2. It's something unimaginable. You guys are going to freak out when you see it. Go ahead, ask as many questions as you want. I won't be answering them.
It
Goodbye.
is going to blow your mind. You have
It's gonna
no
be huge.
idea.
Please, we'll reveal it at our next shareholder meeting. It's $50 for a virtual ticket. Pay up. Eater's Digest is published every Friday morning on YouTube with video and Spotify with audio. You can support the show by subscribing, by sharing it with somebody who might like it, or by joining our Discord at patreon.com/Shack.